Good evening. I just want to check if I'm audible, if I'm visible. Well, my name is Ekta. I am co-founder of Tava-Mitram. So I'm just waiting for some of the audience to join in and then I can begin. Good evening, everyone. Well, my name is Ekta. I'm co-founder of Tava-Mitram. A warm welcome to everyone. To begin with, to inform about Tava-Mitram, Tava-Mitram is a non-profit initiative that aims at creating mental health awareness at no cost. Well, we began this idea in the year 2016 and it was founded on 15th of March 2019 by my brother Dr. Paris and me. Well, Tava-Mitram is governed by Inner Universe Education Foundation, which is a 12A ATG registered organization. Well, in 2020, we started a campaign, My Mental Health, My Priority. It is a free certification program, and this program aims at increasing knowledge and awareness of mental health issues in 12 different areas of your life. Well, a person who completes these 12 videos earns a badge from Tavamitram which says, My mental health, my priority. Well, Tavamitram is available both in Hindi and English. And so far, we have been able to reach approximately 7,000 plus people across the globe. So, if you want to avail this free certification program at no cost, you may visit us on our website that is www.tavamitram.org. I repeat, it's www.tavamitram.org. And yes, it is very much available on the screen. You can have a look. So, to continue with our Mental Health Matters Season 2, like I had mentioned earlier, we're trying to get some more authentic content this time. And this time we have invited one of our experts. She's Dr. Tahreen Syed. And she would be talking about lifestyle diseases and its impact on mental health. Uh, just letting the audience know that we would be having a conversation both in Hindi and English today. So, without wasting any time, let me just invite Dr. Tareen. I'm just waiting for her to join in. Oh, hello, Dr. Tareen. Namaste.
Namaste, Ekta.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How are you, ma'am? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good too. So, well, Dr. Tareen, a warm welcome to you from Tava-Mitram. It's an honor to have you on this platform. To begin with your introduction, so that the audience, gets to know more about your rich work background. Well, Dr. Tareen is co-founder of Harmony Health and Counseling Services. She has completed her bachelor's in homeopathic medicines and surgery. She is postgraduate in counseling psychology and she has done her master's in clinical psychology. Well, she's a doctor, psychologist, and therapist who comes with a rich experience of over a decade. Dr. Tehreen has also done her training in psycho-oncology, where her main focus is on the psychosocial aspects of patients and caregivers. She specializes in assessing the physical and psychological needs and further assisting individuals and their families in dealing with loss, learning coping techniques, as well as developing resilience. Well, she has also conducted various sessions in life skill training and counseling sessions in various schools, colleges, as well as hospitals. Well, she has also been a group therapist using art therapy at the De Addiction Center, where she is someone who aims at creating an environment that fosters growth, sustainable leadership, and good ethical practice. So, Dr. Tareen, over to you. Before we move ahead, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you, Ekta, for inviting me, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Sure, Dr. Tareen. Well, just letting the audience know, we would be having this conversation both in Hindi and English. ये conversation Hindi और English में होने वाला है. So feel free to ask your questions as we move ahead with the conversation, with our topic for today. Also to add in, I'm a person who is extremely, I mean, who believes in compassion, care, and contribution. And I'm someone who conveys my, ideas and thoughts in a very authentic manner as it is. And that's how I could relate with Dr. Tareen. She is someone who is extremely non-judgmental, grounded, compassionate, and extremely warm. So let's begin with today's conversation. Dr. Tareen, like our topic for today is lifestyle diseases and its impact on mental health. So, if you could tell us what are lifestyle diseases, if you could brief us about it.
Yeah. So, lifestyle diseases, these are non communicable diseases, and they are the result of the way we live, the way we work, and go about in our everyday life, our daily routine. And it is also because of the inappropriate relationship of people with the environment. So, environment and our relationship with it plays a very important role. So main factors that are contributing in this lifestyle diseases includes unhealthy food habits, insufficient physical activity, lack of sleep, use of substances like tobacco, alcohol, drugs, social isolation also. And because of this, there's disturbed biological clock. So these are few of the contributing factor, and this results into five main lifestyle diseases like obesity, diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular diseases, and chronic lung diseases.
Right, you named the biggies, to be very honest. So, just curious to check here. Mental health is a very, I mean, there's so many things that could be covered and spoken about. Very curious to check here. Why did you decide to speak on this particular topic?
Yeah, so Ekta, if you see, there's a lot of stigma attached to mental health. People do not want to talk about their mental health. They feel like if they're
True.
visiting a therapist, it's like having some severe mental disorders like schizophrenia, depression, bipolar. So they do not feel like going to a therapist if they have problems related to daily life activities or stress related problems of interpersonal relationship problem. But we need to understand that it's okay to go to a therapist, talk about your problem. It's not necessary that you need to have some psychological disorder, psychiatric disorders. You need to be on medication, then only you can visit a psychologist. No, you can go and talk about your daily routines also, issues that are bothering you. So in my practice, what I have seen is clients who are working in the IT sectors, those are working professionals, housewives, students. I've observed that there's a common theme when they talk about the issue, and that theme is mainly revolving around stress related issues, work pressure, performance, which is affecting their both physical and mental health, and they're not able to maintain that work life balance. And because of that, they're adopting negative lifestyle patterns, and then this is ultimately leading to disorders like somatoform disorders, eating disorder, then depression, anxiety. So what I thought was like Tava-Mitram will be a great platform if as they are already working in the field of mental health, so people can be made more aware of lifestyle diseases and how we can cope with it.
True. Dr. Tareen, you rightly mentioned, Tava-Mitram is a platform that aims at creating mental health awareness. Absolutely. And you rightly pointed out, in a way we've seen there is a stigma attached to mental health, because if there is a physical health issue, something is paining, not really, we immediately go to a doctor. However, if there are issues that are bothering me internally, it becomes very difficult to actually approach or to talk to anybody. And so you've beautifully pointed out. So let's move on further with our conversation. I'm sure there'll be a lot to learn today. If you could tell us a little bit about how lifestyle choices impact one's health, and I'm referring here to both physical as well as mental health.
Yes, so definitely lifestyle choices has a major impact on person's physical and mental health. So there are certain life factors that may directly affect the brain chemistry and contribute to mental illness. Nowadays, if you see, mental illnesses are on high because people are not able to cope up with the daily stressors. So what happens is when you're stressed, your body releases a stress hormone called cortisol, and there is hormonal fluctuation, imbalance in the body. And when the cortisol level increases and there's overproduction of cortisol for a long period of time, then this can lead to anxiety, depression, decreased immunity, weight gain because of high calorie intake, decrease memory and concentration. So these all affect when the stress hormone increases. Now it's like कि क्या पहले stress नहीं था? There was stress. People used to handle stress earlier also because there were stress busters. Like people used to go meet people, spend time with families, sit together on a dinner table, go out for a walk with pets or grandchildren. There was a social connect. But nowadays, people has distanced themselves from all this thing because of fast moving life. So now, Ekta, if I ask you, as a child, what did you enjoy the most?
Well, as a child, if I go back, it's a wonderful question, first of all. I used to enjoy playing a lot. I mean, बहुत लाड होते थे as when I was a kid. So I used to enjoy all that pampering that used to be there. And yes, फटाफट homework करके immediately complete our homework and then just go out and play. Uh, we were very much indulged in outdoor activities. बहुत सारे games खेलते थे. I remember mom used to be literally shouting her lungs out, come back, we have to eat food now, come. So बहुत खेलते थे हम. There was a lot of physical activities, outdoor games that we were involved in, and I used to enjoy it thoroughly.
Yes. So exactly. So earlier, if you ask children, they would always say like they prefer playing outdoor games, gully cricket, badminton, many games they used to play. And nowadays, if we ask children, so what is their favorite game? PUBG. Spending time on social media, making reels. So you see that connect is lost. And it's leading to sedentary life habits, sitting at one place continuously for a long time, not going out in nature, not taking that fresh air, that sunlight, which is a rich source of vitamin D. So that is one factor. Another factor, like earlier, people prefer eating food at home. Home cooked food was preferred, and occasionally they ate out. But today it's other way around. People like to eat out, street foods they enjoy, junk food, pizza, burger. And
True.
if you see working professionals also, um, although there are exceptionals, but because of the hectic life schedule, it's like jo bhi instantly, what we can order with Zomato, Swiggy, because they don't have time on hand, or which khana jo instantly ban sakta hai, so they prefer those kind of food. So people are not getting nutrition, you see. So nutrition nahi hone ki wajah se all these problems are coming up. And this is not only about home cooked food, but it was like everyone coming together on a dining table. There used to be a fixed routine, एक discipline हुआ करता था पहले. 8 o'clock everyone has to gather on the dining table, eat food together. And then no work was discussed. Everyone was focused on eating. There was a lot of mindful eating involved there. And now what is happening? uh, Hectic like schedule हो गया है, time नहीं है. When people come home, they hardly meet anyone at home, prepare their plates, go into their bedroom, television on कर लेते हैं. If television is not on, then the mobile is on. So एक हाथ में mobile है, with the other hand with the spoon you're eating. You don't realize whether you're eating or you're gulping, and mindfulness is not there. And then what is happening? Giving rise to a number of physical ailments, right? So body weight is increasing, sedentary habits की वजह से, और that is also adding to it. So junk food is also consumed lot, and these are leading to many disorders, lifestyle disorders.
Very true. डॉक्टर तहरीन, आपने दो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट बातें कही हैं. जो you've said many things, but what stayed with me here is one is mindful eating. एंड बहुत ज़रूरी है what is on my plate, and I chew very well, and I am with myself while I'm eating the food. Very, very important. The right proportion, right quantity, and the choice again, क्या खा रही हूँ मैं, nutritious element होना भी बहुत ज़रूरी है. You also mentioned about social connect, with respect to how you highlighted that beautifully. I would say we many times we are socially connected outside our home. हम बाहर जाते हैं, दोस्तों से मिलते हैं, but that social connect within the home is missing at times. बहुत बार ऐसे होता है, on the dining table there are people sitting, everyone is busy in their own mobile phone, or times people eat at different times, only sitting in front of a television or mobile phone. That is absolutely highlighted by you. I would say yes, it is something which definitely impact our physical as well as mental health. So thank you for bringing that to us today. Moving on, can you talk about role of lifestyle factors that mainly contribute to diseases like cardiovascular diseases, or maybe obesity, like you mentioned earlier, or maybe chronic lung disease, if you could talk about it?
Yes. So, Ekta, as I mentioned earlier, also, like there are certain contributing factors. So, the major contributing factor is unhealthy diets and lack of physical activity. Now, what is happening because of that? Junk food is consumed a lot. That is leading to obesity. There's no physical activity. And if you see nowadays, people are very conscious about how they look, especially the teenagers when they put on weight. उसकी वजह से क्या होता है when they go out, you know, in schools, colleges, or get-togethers, then issues of body shaming comes up, right?
Yes, very serious. Yes.
No, and then sometimes they are even bullied for it, and this affects their mental health. And what happens? The person will start joining gym, eating balanced diet, but still the weight is not reducing. Self-esteem starts going down.
Yeah.
Person becomes more anxious, and sometimes this may even lead to depression. So you can say like nutrition and physical activities are very much important now. Like in case of diabetes also, there's high consumption of sugar, there's low consumption of fibers, so insulin doesn't get secreted. So if you go to a diabetologist, what is the first line of treatment he suggests? Go for a walk, have a healthy diet. Yeah. So here also again, if you see, all these factors are contributing in diabetes. Similarly, if you see in hypertension also, cardiovascular diseases also, high consumption of salty, fried food, sodium, increased intake of alcohol, all these are leading to hypertension. Then food high in fats, along with this lack of physical activity, इससे क्या हो रहा है, cholesterol levels increase हो रहे, then again the cardiac issues are coming up. So unhealthy diet again is playing here a major role. And even the personality factors, like if you're a very anxious, then anger, hostility, they also contribute to cardiovascular diseases. Anxiety, depression, loneliness, these are also the factors which are responsible. We also know that cancer is also increasing nowadays at an alarming rate, right? So the major contributing factor are same again: unhealthy diet, weight gain, no no activity, then diet high in animal fats, sugar, sodium, then the use of food colors, dyes, then additives are being used, preservatives are being used. So these are leading to different types of cancer like colorectal cancer, endometrium cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, just to name few. Then again, like the pollution level has increased a lot. So exposure to pollutants, radiations, then chemicals, gases. Now, this also leads to lung cancer, and at the same time, this can be a causative factor for chronic lung diseases also. So, you see what is happening in all this? Immunity is getting decreased.
True.
Why? Because of unhealthy diet, lack of physical activity, and stress. So, you see, this is a vicious cycle revolving all around the nutrition, the physical activity, and our mental state.
Very true. Uh, very rightly mentioned, Dr. Thereen. You spoke about how processed food, sodium, how it may further lead to chronic diseases as well. You spoke about you came up with a very I would say serious topic, that is cancer. So let's go ahead and talk more about it. Dr. Thereen, let us know how cancer affects mental health.
Yeah. So, cancer, it does not only affect your body, it affects your emotional health also. Emotional health of the patient, the families, the caregivers. And there are certain common feelings during this life changing experiences like anxiety, depression, and distress. So, distress can actually affect the way how you think, how you act, how you think, and then it becomes very hard to cope with having cancer. Along with the symptoms, you have to deal with the symptoms also, treatments also, and side effect. Now, if you see, a certain amount of distress is normal, but when you or your loved one are having cancer, but at times distress can interfere with the treatment, and that makes it very difficult for them to cope up with cancer.
Okay, so what I can understand is, there's a lot of stress that the person who experiences cancer, who suffers from cancer, actually goes through a lot of stress there. I'm sure through their treatment, during their treatment also, there is a lot of physical changes that happen. Loss of hair, loss of weight. Person really undergoes a lot of trauma there, absolutely. Uh, can you share some alarming signs to watch out, by the caregivers, to watch out in a patient, to consult a therapist, if you could talk about that a bit here.
Yes. So, Ekta, we all know about the physical symptoms. Few you also have named the side effects of chemotherapy, losing hair, excessive weight loss. But there are other symptoms also which we can actually find out, and we can actually refer them to a therapist. So, symptoms like when the person is having, trouble falling asleep, or he's not able to eat properly, or he's not able to focus, then there can be constant negative thoughts about illness and death. That continuous emotional turmoil is there. Then being unusually angry or irritable, feeling hopeless, questioning faith, why me? Then sometimes they feel like मैं तो बोझ बन गया हूँ, feeling like a burden,
Right.
worthlessness. So these are the signs that you need to watch. Then not taking medicines because they feel like cancer is end of life. क्या करें medicines लेके, आखिर मरना ही तो है. So this is also something that you need to see, that if the person is going into depression, so this is a time that you need to seek the help of a psycho-oncologist.
Right. So, what stays with me right now is when a person, tends to miss on his medicines, purposely doesn't take his medicines, or someone who, gets into that zone of loneliness or depression, then that's the time where the caregivers need to understand that they need to meet a psycho-oncologist. Very, very important. Just a request to the audience. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us in the comment section. You can put it across, and we will try our level best to address it if we get time. Just a small request to the backend team. We cannot see any messages. So if there are any, please go ahead, and we're unable to see any messages. If there are questions, please kindly share it with us. So can we move on, Dr. Tareen, with the conversation?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay. Um well, to further take this topic ahead, if you could share, how patients and their family members, like whom we refer as caregivers, how can they take care of their mental health, and also, at the same time, create a conducive environment to deal with such a stressful and difficult situation.
Yes. So, Ekta, I've been seeing cancer patients, and it's very difficult for them to experience this, life-changing situation. They start questioning themselves. Why me? मुझे ही क्यों? Why did it happen to me? मेरे ही family member को क्यों हुआ है? You know, so it's a very difficult phase from the moment you are diagnosed with cancer and till the time actual treatment start. So there's continuous turmoil going on, emotional turmoil is there, dilemma is there for the family members. So here what we can do is, the patient and the family members, they need to get on as much information and knowledge about the disease, understand what cancer is, understand the treatment protocol, the side effect, what are the treatment option, and most importantly, accept the fact that it is cancer and I need to cope it with it positively. So
Right.
acceptance is must here, because if the patient is in denial, then it will affect his mental health. So one thing is the one thing that we need to observe is the mood swing. The person can get very angry. There may be a lot of frustration, irritability. Sometimes the person may even become abusive. So here the family members have to be a little aware of it, and they should understand, though family members are very understanding and caring at this time, that these are the feelings which are not directed personally to them, to the family members, but this is a reaction of the pain. So here support, being empathetic is very much required. And if the patient is not able to deal with these emotions, feelings, and it is interfering with its daily functioning, then he or she needs to visit a psycho-oncologist.
True. So, like you just highlighted, Dr. Tareen, that it's the person who suffers from cancer, the person who's experiencing going through this trauma, okay, can get abusive, can get angry because he or she is losing hope. It's a difficult situation. So, their caregivers also need to undergo, they would also definitely have their own pressure dealing with it. I completely agree with you. If required, even they need to first of all seek all the information, the knowledge, and if they are going through stress, they also need to equally meet a therapist for that matter. So, would you recommend them also to meet a psycho-oncologist?
Yes, yes, definitely. Because it's not the patient who is alone suffering from the cancer, the whole
True.
family is suffering.
Ah, very true, very true. So the one is a physical pain, the other one, both. The entire family is going through the mental trauma there.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so let's moving on. If you could suggest some activities for the cancer patients, to cope up with this life-threatening situation, some coping strategies.
Yeah, so coping style will differ from person to person as each person is unique. But yeah, few tips I can definitely share. First thing is, deal with cancer one day at a time. Be in the moment. Focus on each day. Express gratitude. Then patients can also rely on ways of coping that they used earlier in past when they were in a difficult situation. So they can use the same defense mechanism, the same strategies to deal the problem. Next thing is like they need to talk out their feelings, share, have a strong support group around them. A strong network is required. Talk to people who you're comfortable with. Then you can join support groups also. Nowadays, there are many cancer support groups. And remember that you need to pause, you need to breathe, you need to relax, you need to meditate. So, mindfulness is also very much important. Do activities like yoga, going for a walk, listening to music, reading book. If you have any hobbies, pursue those hobbies. If you like gardening, do gardening. If there are any, if you have any passion to do anything which you were not able to do it earlier because of your hectic schedule, you can pursue that again. So it's all how you deal with it. If you're an, if you can also explore your spiritual and religious belief practices like praying, reading holy book if you're a religious person. So this also can help them to distract negative thoughts. Try to find meaning in the illness. Has there something changed? Sometimes this can even change the perspective
True, very true.
of the way you look towards your life. Then engage in creative activities also, like dancing, painting, singing. And at times, ऐसे भी हो सकता है there's no one around you. You are all alone in your thoughts. There's no one with whom you can talk. That is the time you can do journaling, write your thoughts out. understand what your feelings are, do doodling. So these are some things that people can actually do, so that they can remain positive.
True. So, Dr. Tareen, the most important emotion that a person needs to combat is fear, and
Yes.
also raise hope within. This is what stays with me. So, some wonderful things that you mentioned is about practicing mindfulness. You also spoke about joining support groups, and that I believe would create a strength within a human being, who's experiencing cancer, who's suffering from it. He or she may feel I'm not alone here. There are people with me, and I can battle it. वो energy आ सकती है आप में. And yes, like getting into something that I mean, dealing with your passion. It could be music. I find music extremely healing. That could be one of the ways to deal with it. So thank you for sharing those, Dr. Devi. Can I just divert from the topic a bit?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay, so I wanted to know if you could talk about a relationship between food and hormones. Specifically food and happy hormones. If you could talk about that a bit.
Yeah, so food plays a very important role in enhancing mood. So neurotransmitters, they affect the production of mood boosting chemicals like dopamine, endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin. So dopamine production will increase when people eat foods like chocolates, apple, almonds, to name few. So this is a chemical that is a part of the brain pleasure reward system. So you feel really motivated when you eat all this thing or do activities which releases dopamine. So you start working towards your goal, and obviously you feel rewarded after it when you achieve your goal. So that's about dopamine. Then serotonin is also another good chemical. So food like salmon, milk, pineapple, this increases the serotonin production. And also, research has shown that lower levels of serotonin contribute to higher levels of depression and anxiety. So, that is one thing that we can take care of. Then, endorphins. Endorphins are also known as natural painkillers. So, they contribute to the feelings of being happy, euphoric, energetic. So, these are the natural chemicals that are released by the body. So, regular activities like exercise, jogging, walking, laughing, this all releases endorphin. You feel better. Then, foods also like oranges, grapes, animal protein, they also boost endorphin levels. So, Ekta, if you remember, we've been talking about the social networking, the connect that people have lost. So, and people go
Right.
into social isolation. So, your oxytocin is another very good chemical. So, this plays a very important role in human behavior. It helps in social bonding. You feel that love, warmth, and care. So, if you see, these are very simple activities like meeting people, hugging someone, exercising, cooking, listening to music. So, this all can boost the production of your feel good, happy hormones.
Right. So I refer oxytocin as a love hormone. So yes, we require that a lot. Dr. Tareen, I'm just going to quickly recap this because this is something which could be, very important for all the listeners in general. Well, we spoke about dopamine. I mean, if you want to add in something as I talk, please go ahead and do that. So we spoke about dopamine first, and dopamine mainly is like a pleasure reward system. So one to feel motivated, this particular hormone is extremely wonderful. Again, something important about serotonin is imbalance of serotonin would lead to high depression and anxiety. So one, we all need to be mindful about it. Also, endorphins are natural painkillers. So doing a lot of activities that we like. It could be singing. I'm not singing. I'm sorry. It could be dancing. It could be any sports game. Then I'm sure endorphins can be superb here. And yes, last but not the least, social bonding could help us increase oxytocin. I also talk a lot about. I'm an advocate of self care, Dr. Terry. So I'm sure if a person involves in self care, in any form of activity that a person loves, I'm sure all of these hormones would be in balance to lead a happy, healthy life, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so as we are moving ahead, Dr. Tareen, could you share some tips for making healthy lifestyle choices in general for all our audience?
Yeah, so my healthy lifestyle choices will revolve around, nutrition and physical activity only. So first thing, let's start with eating healthy balanced food. So if you're eating too
Yes.
much or if you're eating too less, then that also can affect your physical and mental health. So be away from food that are fatty foods, low nutritional meal. Then focus on food that stimulates mood, so that the brain activity can affect the mood positively. Do regular exercises. It has a profound effect on your mental health. It also improves your sleep and it prevents you from depression also. And again, if it's preventing you from depression, then automatically it is relieving you from stress also. So increased energy is there, stamina is there, mental alertness is increased, cognitive function increases. So exercises are really necessary, it's a must. Then sleep is something that we hardly sleep, so take proper sleep. So keep gadgets away before sleeping. 2 hours before you sleep, don't look at your mobile, keep it away. Difficult?
You were talking something impossible. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You're talking something impossible about having being 2 hours away from the gadget. Let us know something doable, Dr. Tareen. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So, Ekta, you can start with 30 minutes. Is that doable? So, slowly you can start with 30 minutes and then you
Yes.
can gradually increase the time. So, yes, 2 hours is very difficult, especially if you're continuously on mobile. So, keep all your gadgets away. So, if you have a good sleep, you wake up early in the morning feeling fresh and energetic. And if your sleep is disturbed, the whole day you feel irritated. And then it also hampers your work productivity, right?
Okay.
So that is one thing. Try to so all these things, good balanced diet, exercise, proper sleep will build immunity. So you need to focus on building immunity. Connect with nature, as I said earlier, that there's an inappropriate relation of the person with the environment. Try to connect with nature, watch sunrise, go for a walk early in the morning, expose yourself to that ample vitamin D. And we all know sunlight is a rich source of vitamin D. Watch the greenery around you. It also has a soothing effect on your eyes and other senses. It keeps you calm. So, connecting with nature is very, very important here. Avoid use of substances, cigarette, alcohol, drugs. Avoid getting into any sort of addiction. So, here also, I would like to highlight getting into social media addiction, internet addiction, mobile addiction. So anything which is in excess leads to addiction. So that can also hamper. Then have social interactions, build networks. As we all know, social isolation, leads to the feeling of loneliness, negative self-esteem. And having good social network will help you to uplift your mood. And at the same time, don't forget that you don't need to get emotionally attached to anyone. So avoid
Okay.
getting emotional attachments as it can negatively affect the mental health. Try to let go of things, do a lot of self care here. So this will help you
Hmm.
from getting into emotional attachments. Create a healthy work environment if you are a working professional, as negative environment can lead to poor work performance, work stress. So encourage communication, do engagement activities, show appreciation to the colleagues, promote healthy habits. So this all will make the work environment also happy. So these are certain tips that we can follow and inculcate in our daily routine.
Fantastic, Dr. Terry. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly recap, if you don't mind, for the audience, just to emphasize on these tips because they're very, very important. So, for building immunity health, you mentioned about having nutritious, balanced diet. That is very important. indulge in some form of physical activity, be it exercise or yoga. You also mentioned about having good sleep patterns. So, avoid gadgets before sleeping. And to begin with, we can start with 30 minutes. Um, I love the fact that you spoke about connecting with nature. It is very, very. I mean, something if we could wake up early in the morning and go for a walk, connect with the nature, greenery around, the air is fresh. It would be amazing to do that. At the same time, you also mentioned about releasing stress in a healthy manner. That is by avoiding addiction, be it substance as well as mobile, because nowadays scrolling is also an addiction on the mobile. Yes. I love the fact that you spoke about social connection. And as we go ahead and bond with people, we also need to ensure that we avoid emotional attachment because that would lead to hurt. Um, I like the fact that you highlighted about healthy work environment, that is communicating with your colleagues. So thank you for sharing these tips. I hope I covered everything.
Yes, Ekta.
Thank you so much. I know we're almost on the top of the hour, but a last question, Dr. Terry. As a professional yourself, what would you recommend other mental health professionals, like people like us? What would you recommend them to, or other tips that you could share, how they can take care of themselves, and tips that could help them to grow in this field?
Yes. So, as a mental health professional or a therapist, we are continuously listening to our clients. We are listening to their issues, their worries, and negativity. So, at time it can affect us too. And sometimes we also can get overwhelmed with the emotions. So, being continuously in the role of a therapist, being empathetic, being non judgmental, so that can lead to issues of burnout, compassion fatigue. So it's very important that we take a pause, we supervise ourselves also, understand that what we are feeling. If we supervise our own feeling, we can understand, like, what is the issue that is troubling me? Are there any transference issue? Then go for co-counseling sessions. Talk about it with the therapist. Deal with it before you have a next session with your client, because if you are not in a good frame of mind, you won't be able to do justice with your client. Build up community,
Right.
support groups of like-minded people. You can have a support group of all the mental health professionals, therapists, where each one is there available for each other. And you can freely talk there, discuss your problem, discuss the issues, build a community, grow together. Also, it's very important that you need to upgrade yourself, upgrade with the latest knowledge, the latest trend, the research, understand what are the issues people are facing nowadays. Do case discussions, you know so this will also give you an insight as what is happening today. And most importantly, self-care. So self-care is very important. Take regular break, pause from your daily routine, go for a vacation, take care of yourself, so that you maintain that work life balance. Otherwise, we are continuously in the same role, working. We become workaholic. We do not look after ourselves. We just forget about us. So it's important to take care of us also, because ultimately, see, when we are earning and when we are doing work, it's like we all want to earn money for our survival. But if you are not feeling good, if you it's if it start disturbing you at certain level, then at that time you will have to go and meet a doctor or a therapist. So don't overburden yourself. Have those healthy boundaries, work life balance, and give that me time to yourself. We talk about giving me time, but we actually do not practice that. So give that time, pat yourself, love yourself. We always love others, but we never love ourselves. So love yourself, hug yourself, and motivate yourself. So these are small tips that, as a mental health professional, I will suggest to other therapists also.
Thanks, Dr. Tareen. I completely concur with you with respect to compassion fatigue. I have myself experienced that a lot because continuous listening leads to feeling burnt out. And I'm sure I love those tips that you mentioned about talking to co-counselors and creating support groups for professionals themselves. It could be fantastic. I like the fact that you spoke about upgrading self. Very important, and that me time, self care. It's very much needed even for mental health professionals. Absolutely. So, Dr. Tareen, as we are almost on the top of the hour, I would like to conclude here by thanking you on behalf of the entire Tava-Mitram team. Paris and I, we are extremely grateful that you have taken out some time from your busy schedule and you've shared this valuable information with us. So, तहे दिल से आपका शुक्रिया. Before we go ahead with the closure, any last few words from you, please?
Yeah. So thank you, Paris. Thank you, Ekta and Tava-Mitram team for having me here for this initiative of mental health matters, which is the need of the hour. I sincerely request all the audience and the viewers to not to shy away from this topic, which has a potential to change the entire chapter of your life. Hence, take charge of your life, as life is not about how much you live, but how you live and create those beautiful moments. हर छोटा बदलाव एक बड़ी कामयाबी का हिस्सा होता है. So let's come forward, work together towards our own mental well-being.
Very true. You rightly pointed it out. It's not about the length, but the quality of life. It's not the quantity here. Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for your motivating words, Dr. Tareen. I'm just going to go ahead and share with the audience. If you want to reach out to Dr. Tareen, you can reach her team on Harmony Health and Counseling @gmail.com. Their email address is harmonyhealthandcounseling @gmail.com. I would be adding this particular email address in the comment section later. Also, alternately, you may also visit her website, which is www.harmony.co.in. I'm sure it is very well mentioned on the screen. You can see it on the screen. It is www.myharmony.co.in. I would like to thank our viewers for being with us today. Tava-Mitram is available both in Hindi as well as English. I would request you, if you want to avail our free certification program, My Mental Health, My Priority, all you have to do is get into our website. The website address is www.tavamitram.org. I repeat one more time, it's www.tavamitram.org. Also, if you wish to donate your time, your skills, you want to join us as a volunteer, you may write us. You may write to us on info@tavamitram.org. Okay. If you could see on the screen, My Mental Health, My Priority, that's the free certification program. Again, I would like to say, if you want to donate money to help us to take this initiative ahead, you can now claim tax refunds under ATG-IT Act on the donated amount. And let me tell you, this is specifically for Indians. So as I close, I would like to recollect one of my favorite quote by Mel Robbins. It goes, "Your mental health is everything. Prioritize it. Make the time like your life depends on it, because it does." So at Tava Mitram, we aim at building emotions and strengthening people locally and globally. So that's all from my end. Thank you everyone for watching us. Thank you, Dr. Tareen, for giving us your valuable time. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.